when the last bomb is dropped, when the last missile roars, when the shock waves have stopped, there'll be peace once more. Peace once more. Peace once more. Come everlasting peace once more. Can't tell the truth by lying. You can't love someone through hate. You can't make bombs for peace, or else peace will come too late.
When the last bomb is dropped, when the last missile roars, when the shock waves are stopped, there'll be peace once more. Peace once more. Peace once more. Come everlasting peace once more.
3, 2, 1. Stop nuclear testing. 3, 2, 1. How's the sound person? Thank you so much. Hi, my name's Jose. I want to welcome you to Politically Correct Cooking, a show about two of my favorite things, food and politics. Now, we've got a real special show for you tonight. We've got, something is amiss here. Look at this. General Electric. General Electric, they love nukes. We can't have this on the Politically Correct Cooking show. Let's try to fix it up here. Nuclear weapons, may they rust in peace. Now we're politically correct. And with the guest that we have tonight, you've got to be politically correct because we have a representative from the largest peace organization in the US of A. Give a warm, politically correct welcome to Ira from Sane Freeze. Ira, glad you could make it.
My pleasure.
Glad you could find time in your busy schedule to join us and cook a little dish for us here and talk about what's going on.
Well, I heard you had spaghetti and vegetables. That's one of the basic dishes of life, and I thought I might as well come on and heat it up.
Okay, great. Well, what I want you to do is tell our audience what's going to be expected. I know they're at home jotting down the menu that you're going to be describing to them. Also, we want to find out what's going on with the peace movement here in the US of A at the end of the Cold War.
Okay. Well, my understanding is we're going to make spaghetti and sauce, and we have a salad that we made before the show. And it's a basic dish, simple yet eloquent, as they say. Basically, we're going to cut up some fresh vegetables, heat them up in the pan, and then add them to a sauce that we've already got, one of the better sauces that you can find in supermarkets. I'm told I'm not supposed to say that this is Paul Newman's sauce, so I won't mention it.
We won't show his face.
No, but it's a good sauce, and it's a good company because they give their profits to well worthwhile organizations and causes. So.
And it's also all natural.
Yeah.
Holy cow. Well, you're in charge. Tell me what you want to do.
Well, why don't we chop up some vegetables and cut them into kind of sauce-like sizes. I'll take the squash here, and you can take the pepper and the broccoli.
Okay.
And then we'll talk, and we'll see the first person who cuts off their finger wins the Politically Correct Cooking Award.
Sounds great.
Yeah.
Now, Sane Freeze, what is it? What do you all do? Can you fill us in on what it's about?
Well, Sane Freeze is the nation's largest membership peace and justice organization. And basically, it's the merger of two national peace groups. SANE, which is not an acronym, but it's a Committee for a Sane Nuclear Policy, was started in the late 1950s around the issue of nuclear testing. Particularly at that time, they were testing nuclear weapons in the atmosphere, and people got really concerned.
There's a lot of strontium in the milk and things like that.
Radiation was seeping into the food supply into people's bodies. So people like Dr. Benjamin Spock and Eleanor Roosevelt and Norman Cousins and a number of others put an ad out in the New York Times calling on the governments of the world to stop testing nuclear weapons. And from that, a movement was started, an organization was started. And then the other organization that's part of Sane Freeze is the Nuclear Weapons Freeze Campaign, was started in the early 1980s when Ronald Reagan was in office and talking about the evil empire and maybe having to fight a nuclear war with the Soviet Union, and he got the public's attention, both here and in countries around the world, and movements were born from that as an effort to try to stop the arms race.
Now, the freeze movement came about through, I guess, local people getting together in town meetings throughout the United States saying, we want to stop this arms race, we want to freeze it.
Right.
That's how it got its name.
Right.
Now, some of the things that Sane Freeze is doing, what might be some of the subjects that they focus in?
Well, Sane Freeze now, in 1992, our work is, I guess you could say we have two major focuses for our work. One is to deal with the legacy of the Cold War, and that involves a number of different areas. One of the legacies of the Cold War was the environmental pollution that was created with the building of nuclear weapons and maintaining a war industry. And in this country, as I'm sure in a number of other countries, the military is the largest polluter, actually, in the United States. And so we've got a case where we've got nuclear weapon facilities around the country that have really are a hazard to the environment.
Right, and I understand
and
a lot of times that the military, under the guise of national security, will say, we can do anything we want in order to protect you. And in reality, what they're doing is not really protecting you at all.
Well, in reality, as it was the case with atmospheric nuclear testing, they're endangering your security in the name of protection, as you said. So that's one legacy, is the environmental legacy, and the amount of care and resources, dollars that have to be put into cleaning up those facilities where nuclear weapons were produced. Another legacy of the Cold War is dealing with the neglect in our cities and the neglect of our people. We spent so many years putting so much of our resources into the military and so few resources into building up our economy and building up our education system and other things that were much needed, that we've really got to pay attention to those things now.
So pretty much it was a defense of a hollow shell. It was a facade that...
In many ways. I mean, we are the world's #1 military superpower, but that's about it as far as power goes. We're really struggling in so many other areas.
Right, economically, child care, things like that, infant mortality. Now, reading the newspapers, the Soviet Union, the evil empire, their history.
Right.
What is the focus now for the peace movement? Because a long time the peace movement was trying to, I guess, create better relations between, say, the superpowers. Now that there's only one superpower, how does the peace movement, does it change its focus any? Is it still there?
Well, as I said, dealing with the legacies, one of the focuses now is to shift resources from unnecessary military programs to domestic programs. And it's important to note that even though the Cold War has ended, or the superpower conflict between the United States and the Soviet Union has ended, that we are still spending tax dollars for military programs at Cold War levels. The Center for Defense Information notes that in 1993, we will spend close to $290 billion for military programs, which is Cold War level military spending. In the sense that we were, if you think when Ronald Reagan came into office, the military budget at that time was about $150 billion. And that was when the Soviet Union was supposedly at the height of their powers. Right. There is no Soviet Union. And this year in 1993, we're going to spend $290 billion. The Center for Defense Information also notes that if you add to that figure of $290 billion, which is the military budget figure for 1993, if you add other things like the interest on the debt, which can be ascribed to military spending in the past, we've had to borrow money to maintain military budgets. If you add that portion of NASA, the space agency that's military related, that portion of the Department of Energy that's military related, and other related expenditures, military spending for 1993 will go over $400 billion. So it's still an enormous drain on our economy, an enormous strain on our resources. And that's part of our struggle, is to shift resources to the domestic side of things. I'm going to heat up some oil here so that we
Okay.
can cook these vegetables.
I want to make sure I get a lesson here in spaghetti here on what's going on. Now, what we're going to be doing here is we're going to be adding these vegetables, doing a little stir fry, add a little bit of sauce.
Right.
Okay, great.
Look at that. Isn't that pretty?
It's beautiful.
Almost looks like a nuclear reactor, doesn't it? It's bright red. I don't think the cameras probably can't see that, but it's some. Oh, you can see that. Yeah.
It looks nice.
Yeah, it does. It's okay.
Makes
I guess
me
we should cover
proud
it
to
up.
be an American. I trusted my government. Now I glow in the dark.
That's right. Okay, so we've got. Then we'll just let this heat up a little. Then we'll put the.
Okay.
Then we'll heat the veggies up.
Do you want me to slice more stuff up, or how's this looking?
That looks fine. I think that should do it actually.
Okay, great.
And we'll heat the water on the
Okay.
for the spaghetti.
Sounds great.
Other parts of, as far as the legacy of the Cold War, another important legacy and dangerous legacy, of course, is the enormous amount of nuclear weapons that still exist in the world. Even though the United States and the Soviet Union, well, the former Soviet Union, are now allies in many respects, there's still a tremendous amount of danger involved in the tens of thousands of nuclear weapons that still exist. And of course the situation in Russia and the surrounding republics is a very volatile situation, and it's unclear yet how swiftly we'll be able to move to dismantle nuclear weapons, and so it's an issue that our organization and others are working on, working to dismantle weapons and to make sure that we can get significant reductions.
What kind of suggestions or what kind of advice would you give, say, the leaders of the various republics out in the ex-Soviet Union, the American president? What kind of advice would you give them to get rid of the weapons?
Well,
should the U.S.
basically-
buy them from the Soviet Union? I've seen that in newspapers, that it'll save money in the long run.
Well, I think certainly that the republics do need help, and resource help in dismantling the weapons, both, I'm sure, technologically they need help, and also as far as dollar resources to get the job done. They also need, of course, help in working towards a democratic government and in trying to create an economy that can meet the needs of their people. So it's unclear at this point how things are going to work out. It's unfortunate that the United States, at a time when we could really maintain a close relationship with the former Soviet Union and become a partner in peace, and we don't have the resources to really, don't have the kinds of resources that it would be really good to have to help them move and improve their economy.
Truer words have never been spoken.
That's my Soviet Union rap. Okay, let's heat these vegetables up.
Okay. And a little later on, we'll be adding some sauce and
Yeah.
doing spaghetti. Sounds great. Let me get this out of the way. What I'll do is I will transfer this over. So,
I'm going to put a little more oil in here.
you are the man in charge. You're the man of the house. Now, do you cook a lot, or
I used to. I must admit that I don't as much as I used to. My wife tends to take care of most of the cooking, and I tend to take care of most of the eating. So we have sort of a shared relationship.
that's
Sometimes it's not as much to her liking as as she would like, but
well, I have a feeling that when you go home and she sees a show on TV, you're going to be doing some work in the kitchen.
yes, and explaining that comment, and I'll probably be cooking a lot more in the months ahead, I can tell you.
Well, cooking is fun. I'm having a great time.
It is fun. And it's
And it's
something
healthy,
that
too,
and it's something
especially
that
if you cook right.
You can see your accomplishments. You know, a lot of
Right.
times when you're working in the peace movement, you know, and you're trying to dismantle the military-industrial complex, it's hard to see your accomplishments. But with cooking, you know, you could tell when you ruined a meal. I mean, it's right there in front of you. So it's good that way.
Well, I have a feeling that's not going to be the case today.
No, it won't be. Or if it is, people at home won't know it. So.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
through the magic of television.
Mhm.
Well, it's certainly starting to perk up a little there. Do we need any more broccoli or
No,
green
I think
peppers?
we
We're
don't
fine?
want to overload the sauce because, you know, Paul has gone to an enormous expense, Paul Newman that is, to put the flavor in it. You don't want to over-inundate it with things like fresh vegetables. Which,
Okay.
and I guess broccoli is going to be making a comeback now that George Bush is out of the White House. I hear that Chelsea Clinton likes broccoli a lot.
Well, good for her.
And that we are really cooking broccoli today in her honor. This is a Chelsea sauce, if you will.
Great. And kind of bidding a fond adieu to the Bushes.
Yes, the Bushes and the Quayles. The only really people in America I think that will be sorry to see them go are the multimillionaires and the comedians. Probably, you know, comedians because they've lost a tremendous source of humor, and the multimillionaires because they've lost a great friend.
However, you can't really cut those comedians short. I think that there'll be plenty of opportunities in the future to, with the new administration. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of fun.
Yes,
For a change, you know, it'll be nice humor instead of
maybe not as painful.
Not as painful.
Right.
To the comedians and to the populace.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you're certainly a talented guy, peace activist and cook, all rolled into one.
That's right. Well, you got to eat. Okay. Well, we're.
Tell me what to do.
This will be done.
I'm at your beck and call.
We're almost. I mean, that's the thing about spaghetti and sauce. It's very quick.
Well, you know what? Let me take over for you. We've got to pay some bills. We've got to do some commercials.
Okay.
I understand that in your travels around the country, as program director for St. Freeze, you use a lot of humor in your skits and speeches, and I know our audience is looking forward to seeing an example of it. So why don't we pay some bills and do some commercials, and I'll let you take over.
Okay.
How's that? And let me over here, and I'll try to make sure everything is okay.
Okay. So I'm taking over now. Okay.
This is your show.
This is a commercial that I've brought with me. We know your days are filled with the stress and strain of life in America. The cat wants more milk. Your neighbor plays his harpsichord at all hours of the evening. The driver in front of you didn't signal when he turned, and your country is falling apart. When the problems of life pile up, it's clear you need something strong, and plain old aspirin just won't do the trick. So, when pets and people are just too much to take, why not reach for a gun? A gun is the quick, sure answer to life's pesky problems. You just target your troubles, shoot, and relax. Guns. They're not just for hunting anymore. This message brought to you by the NRRA, the National Rifle Retail Association, reminding you that guns don't kill people, bullets kill people.
Holy cow. We've got...
I'll just put my gun here next to the spaghetti so
you
that,
keep, yeah, it'll protect the
this is the
spaghetti.
way we protect our meal.
Well,
My
we've
way
got,
of getting to the NRRA.
you gotta love it. You gotta love it. We've got some other PSAs that we want to run. I know that the PSAs now have a standard that I think is going to be hard to beat. So why don't we roll our other ones? Let's go.
Monuments. Then and now. We don't last. What we build does. Monuments. What will we leave behind?
Ira, the people are going nuts. The phone is ringing off the hook. People are saying, more Ira, more Ira.
Hey.
Can you give us more Ira?
Well, who would if I didn't?
Okay, go for it. I'm going to get out of your way.
I'll do
Take over, big guy.
I'll do another commercial. And since every show needs commercials. He Here's your chance to win big, really big, in America's new Blotto game. You know that with the dismantling of the Soviet Union, the Pentagon's in a quandary. We don't know where to aim our nuclear weapons. It's funny but true. We need a new enemy. And that's where you come in. Just fill out this card and let us know who you like to see go blotto. Maybe you were visiting a country and didn't like the service. Or maybe you were staying at a famous beach resort and it rained all the time. Or just pick a nation whose name you can't pronounce. Then send us your choice for America's new enemy. We'll consider them all, plus suggestions from the CIA. If we choose your country, they lose, but you win. Blotto. If you win, you'll receive your very own set of war plans, so you can help make the big decision along with the President and Billy Graham. Plus, you'll receive $200,000 in General Dynamics stock options. Blotto. It's more than a lottery. It's your chance to help keep the new world in order. And this month's winner is Newt Gingrich, who picks Hawaii.
Hawaii?
Well, Newt's, he's still learning.
I would have picked Great Britain because they have such lousy cuisine. But Newt's got his.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll win next month.
Give the Pentagon a call. I'm sure they're willing to hear from you.
Okay.
So we're in the final stretches here.
Okay.
The vegetables have been heated to a just almost the perfect consistency. What we do now is, see, we take the sauce by that very famous actor who is not Robert Redford, and we mix it with the vegetables, like that.
Okay.
Now,
let me get this out of the way for you.
Yeah. And we turn the heat up a little bit, and so we heat this all together. So, what else is...
looks great.
Yeah, well...
Nice color combination and everything.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Well...
Can we, shall we show this to the camera? Can the camera see
sure.
that? Yeah, I guess so.
They sure can.
Okay.
Now, you were talking about, say, the end of the Cold War, things like that. A lot of our viewers are thinking, well, that's not really for me. I live in this small town. I live in the suburb here. What can a local person do? Do they sometimes feel overwhelmed and say, I can't do anything? Or...
Well, Sane Freeze is an activist organization. We have chapters around the country in about 150 cities. And before I tell you some of the things that people are doing, I just want to finishing up the issues that we were talking about. The main focus being of our organization now trying to shift resources from military into the domestic economy, working to eliminate nuclear weapons and put a real firm hold on the arms race, and also the spread of nuclear technology around the world, which people and governments are more and more concerned about. The other issue is trying to stop the spread of conventional weapons around the globe.
Conventional weapons are more and more accurate, they're more and more powerful, and they're not like the conventional weapons your father used to know.
Well, even if they were, they still kill. And please leave my father out of this, okay?
I'm just a video citizen, and I just got carried away.
Yeah. But anyway, the issue of the arms trade and the spread of weapons around the globe is a very serious issue. And the United States, as a matter of fact, is a prime player in that because we are the #1 arms merchant to the world. And so activists in this country are more and more concerned about trying to get the United States to take leadership to halt the flow of weapons instead of continue the spread of weapons. And of course, we saw with the Gulf War what happens when you supply weapons to
both sides.
To both sides.
It's all like three sides.
To an anti-democratic country.
Right.
It just plants the seeds for future wars. So it's an important issue that we're dealing with. But you mentioned what people locally are doing. Forgot my bib. There are a number of ways that local activists are trying to move these issues and to change the political scene as far as building a peace economy and stopping the spread of weapons around the globe. One of the key ways as far as working on military spending issues is to work in coalition with other constituencies. So,
should we add the spaghetti in?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's time.
Let me open this for you here. We have spinach fettuccine. This is fresh. So I understand it cooks really quickly.
Yes, I imagine that you're only going to need a couple of minutes.
Okay.
to
Great, because
cook
that's about
with.
all we have left.
Let's see. Now, this
Okay.
is the one we want for that, right?
You're the guy in charge.
Yeah. Well,
we're
you can
following.
go to school to learn this kind of thing.
Okay.
You know, they have what they call knob school. Yeah. And they'll teach you left from right and back burner from front burner. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
The food looks delicious. It smells delicious. Everything's set.
Yep.
I wish the folks were here to try it.
Yes, it does. It does look good, and I'm sure that it will taste just as good too.
Let me drain it, and I will be right back.
Okay.
A tiny 5% of the people in the world consume 1/3 of its resources and produce almost half the non-organic waste. Those people are us. Nothing is destroying this planet faster than the way we North Americans live.
Well, Ira, I certainly appreciate you finding time in your busy schedule to come to the show. And before you leave, I want to present you with a chef's hat for having survived the politically correct cooking show. We certainly appreciate it.
Well, Jose, I don't know what to say, so I won't say anything.
Okay. Well, as long as I don't hear from your lawyer, I will take it that you had a good time. I'm sure that our viewers learned a lot in regards to peace and in regards to spaghetti. Thanks again, once again.
My pleasure.
And thank you.
Keep cooking, Jose.
Okay, thank you. You look great. That's you.
Yeah.
All right. Bye-bye.
When the last bomb is dropped, when the last missile roars, when the shock waves have stopped, there'll be peace once more. Peace once more. Peace once more. Come everlasting peace once more. Can't tell the truth by lying. You can't love someone through hate. You can't make bombs for peace, or else peace will come too late.
When the last bomb is dropped, when the last missile roars, when the shock waves have stopped, there'll be peace once more. Peace once more. Peace once more. Come everlasting